Well, how about a go to Kamala Harris? Excited.
Live each and every day, love and live your way. Do your very best, learn and lead today. Be the best you can, it's your life. Take a stand, so live your best life. Live your best life. Come on and live your best life with Dr. Julia Royston. So I'm Dr. Julia Royston, so excited to be here today on day 5 of the Educational Summit, living our best life, being all that we can be. Oh my goodness. So, educators, teachers, parents, students, community leaders, business partners, come on in, and join the conversation of day 5 of Educational Summit 2020. So, we have been in a week long of activities. So feel free to go back and watch any of the replays, bit.ly// BK Royston on YouTube. That's BK Royston on YouTube is where all the replays are held, as well as juliaroyston.net/ special events. So that's where the replays are going to be. That's also where you will get the links to any of the participants, any of the speakers, if they have a book, if they have a website, that's where that information is going to be housed. So give us till Monday, August 17th to make sure all the replays are up and all ready to go. We have been going live each day. We started on August 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and now we're on August 14th. Super excited to have 3 young ladies on with me this evening. And our main topic is we're going to be talking about the future of education, kind of looking through almost like a crystal ball, but I don't think so. I don't think we have to do it that hard. I think we're here. I think society and the events that are happening in our world are forcing us to be ready for the future. It's moving. It's not back to the future. We're moving forward quickly to the future. Things that we said could never happen. Administrators who said no, that won't happen. This is the way we do it here. This is the way it's always been done. This is the way we're going to continue to do it. But I wanted to have this week, some people are going to be in the building, some people are going to be via virtually, the virtual, digital, and online space is prevalent. But I wanted us to have a conversation for us to be able to have on record some ideas, things, resources, and tools to help us look for the future. So if you're retired like I am, great, but you're still concerned. As a retired educator, I am still quite concerned about the future, about the children and the future of education. I committed 22 years to my life to that industry. I committed 22 years to education. I went through the certifications, the practice test, not to see my industry and my career set go, as they say, to hell in a handbasket. I don't want to see that happen. I want to be able to see it grow and flourish, and the next generation and the generation after that. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight is the future of education. Thank you so much, those of you who have joined us on YouTube Live, joining us in the Zoom room. If you're in Facebook, social media, wherever you are, and even those that are going to be watching on the replay that we're going to be promoting throughout the learning year. I'm calling it the learning year rather even than the school year because we might not get to the building for a minute. It may be a while before we actually get back in the building, but learning will continue. So I want each of the guests to introduce themselves, tell us where they're from, tell us what they do or a business that they own, and how people can find you on social media and your website. So let's start there. Dr. Tamara Bowles, take it.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Tamara Bowles. I am the president and CEO of Building Your Future Consulting. Up under the umbrella of Building Your Future Consulting, we specialize in K through 12 tutoring, ACT, SAT, and PSAT prep, as well as motivational speaking. I am one name in two locations. Shout out to the Louisville, Kentucky crew. I just moved from Louisville, Kentucky to Charlotte, North Carolina, where I expanded my company. Shout out to the Indiana crew, Chicago, Atlanta, and others who are watching. I thank you, Dr. Royston, for giving me this opportunity, and you are the best publisher that I know.
Thank you so much. Give us your website and where people can find you on social media.
Sure. My website is B as in building, Y as in your, F as in future, byfconsulting.org. And you can reach me also via email at byfconsulting@yahoo.com.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Phenomenal. So, Dr. Yvette Thomason, please introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from and where people can find you on social media.
Hey guys, my name is Dr. Yvette Thomason. I am located in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, Prince George's County, Maryland. I have been in education now for 23 years. So I'll be retiring soon, hopefully. I'm also president and CEO of my own company. It's called ForMind. ForMind specializes in consulting with small businesses and large corporations focusing on job satisfaction, motivation, and job stress.
Awesome, awesome.
Right now, my website is under construction, but you can find me via LinkedIn. So if you search, my information is there. My contact information is also there. And my email address is formindllc@gmail.com.
Wonderful. And that's Thomason with two S's. Okay.
Thomason with two S's.
Two S's. So make sure that you're finding, look at her beautiful face and be sure and find Dr. Yvette Thomason. Thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you.
Dr. Sharon Hunter, introduce yourself, what you do, and where you live and how people can connect with you.
Thank you so much for providing this opportunity, Dr. Roster. It's a wonderful opportunity. But greetings to the viewers and listeners. I am Dr. Sharon Hunter, and I will be discussing today my perspective and projections of what I believe will be the future of education, especially as it relates to the COVID-19 pandemic. I don't know your thoughts, but like most Americans, I never saw this pandemic coming. Now, my research includes online versus face-to-face classes, acts of de-escalating behaviors, issues related to adult learners, workforce development, code switching, leadership of African American females. I have written over 50 articles for newspapers, journals, and magazines. My most recent forthcoming book is one co-authored by these ladies here today, and that book will be coming out very soon, The Velvet Hat, with the doctors Bowles and Thomason. I am a contributor also to the book, Strengthening STEM, Stamina Using Literature for Adolescents in Urban Environments. My employment as a university professor, training pre-service teachers for over 25 years, and community college teachers, training GED candidates and reform prisoners and workforce development. Consulting, public speaking, and program organizer. I am a talk show host of the talk show entitled Professors Education Matters. You can find me on LinkedIn under the webpage of Regional Consultants, where I work with a team of people, and I can be found on LinkedIn under the title, The Professors Education Matters. And thanks again for having us, a great opportunity to talk about futuristic ideas of education.
Wow. Okay, so I'm honored and privileged to have you all on this evening. So let's just jump right in. We've made our introductions. I know I have some heavy hitters, and feel free, those of you who are in the Zoom room, feel free to ask questions in the chat, and jump in as well. I am quite sure that there are some phenomenal educators in the Zoom room, and I'm glad you're here and happy you're here. So my question is, we've kind of we've not kind of we have switched gears in a radical way, and I know that Dr. Bowles is the business of training and teaching, and I know Dr. Hunter is in the high echelon of the academic as a professor. But I want to go to the let's go to the house. As they say, we're going to take it to the house first. We're going to go back to the school building. I'm going to start with Dr. Thomason because she's still the boots on the ground. I know she's establishing her business and the business is growing, etc. But you're still the boots on the ground. So, where are we currently? Even before we move to the future, where are we currently? Are we in shell shock or? We ready for anything? You know, it used to be teachers, we had to be ready for anything. When the lesson plan didn't go quite so well, we had to switch gears and be ready to go. Have we switched gears or are we still traumatized?
Dr. Royston, we are very much still traumatized. We are still working things out. Our leaders, the governor, as well as the county executive, we're still working our plan out, and as we head towards the opening of school. It has been established right now that the students will still work from home virtually up until January. And we'll take a look at the numbers right here in Maryland right now. The numbers have spiked again. And with that being said, because the numbers have spiked, they have made the decision to have the children remain at home. However, they are looking at more innovative ways to keep us healthy and safe. They're doing things a lot differently in the buildings to at least bring some staff in to keep the buildings open and operating. And some of us will be going in several times a week to work from our building locations.
Right.
It's really a working process. They've definitely asked us to be flexible. Usually, and I have a good friend who serves in the military, and he has said that a lot of the medical techniques that we have today came out of being in war situations.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's true in our same situation. A lot of growth and innovations will come out of this COVID-19 situation.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to really talk about that because we're not used to being war on this side. That is generations behind us that have actually Civil War, World War I and World War II. And from your counseling expertise, can you really shed light on really how we're really being traumatized? I know from my clients that are in therapy, they're like, I don't have to worry about clients. I'm in over my head as far as the whole clientele thing. But as far as teaching, what is that? How has that impacted the counseling area that you are expert in?
Well, it has definitely changed significantly. Our profession has changed over time. We went from a lot of face-to-face direct services to moving to a lot of paperwork, and now we've come back again to a lot of face-to-face counseling. We're using various online platforms. Right now, the professional school counselors in Prince George's County is using DoxyMe, and so it's gotten a lot more, in my opinion, it feels a lot more professional. The kids are signing consent forms to ensure that we are able to speak with them. And it just makes it a lot easier to reach out to kids and reach out to parents. And it's just making that whole entire process, because it's needed. I think the number of kids that have sought out counseling from us, especially, has increased. I know that the parents are definitely in need of mental health services. I know several counselors whose businesses have skyrocketed. They have more patients than they know what to do with.
Exactly.
And another thing that the government has done, the government has waived co-payments
Oh, wow.
for the mental health counseling. So with that being said, you know, a lot of families now have access to the mental health specialist. But and we'll talk about, you know, what that'll look like,
Right.
you
In
know,
the
for the future.
Yeah.
But right now is significant. Families are spending a lot more time together. The family dynamics has changed since March 13th, and that was our last day of school. Parents and families are spending an enormous amount of time together. They've had to shift and find things for their children to do. I'm a parent of two, and you know, what do you do when your child has to pass PE? You
Mhm.
know, and you know, what do you do when your child has to pass a math course? And you know, and you find yourself, and I'm sure Dr. Bowles can speak to this also.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Dr. Bowles, what do we do?
And you,
Call Dr. Bowles.
yes,
Exactly.
and so parents have had to be resourceful. I actually reached out to Dr. Bowles, and she is now my children's tutor, because I'm not great in math.
Mhm.
And so she is definitely jumped in. So we, as parents, speaking from a parent's perspective, we've definitely had to reach out to other resources, because while I'm still working, my children's classes are still going on.
Yes.
And, you know, how to juggle that, you know, so
Right.
parents are under a tremendous amount of stress because everyone's shelter in place. You know, it's 24/7 of being around people you love, but
They
sometimes
get on your nerves, right?
they don't get on your last nerve,
Mhm.
you know.
And they know the
Um,
buttons to push, just like
they
they did to the teacher in the classroom.
right,
They
right,
know that button to push for mommy too.
right. And as soon as you get online, they have questions.
Of course.
Yes, yes. And so with that being said, you know, we're open to, as far as professional school counselors, we're still talking with teachers, we're still talking with parents, we're still talking with kids. Um, Another wonderful thing that has come as a result of this COVID-19 is just that the access to the trauma crisis unit here in the county, being able to refer parents to the trauma crisis unit, and the crisis unit goes directly to the home.
Yes. And yeah, and you know, that's a beautiful thing too as well, because in my school, you know, it was all about they had to come to the building. You know,
Yeah,
there was no way they were going to have any interaction, and so many of my parents didn't have transportation. You
right,
know, as much as you think in 2020 they don't have a car, they didn't have a car.
right.
And the bus was far, and I mean, it's an hour and a half on the regular yellow bus.
Yeah,
So therefore, trying to get a bus, it could be raining. They had could you know calendar conflicts are just you know enormous,
yeah,
but we had to keep pushing the meetings back further and further, and therefore the IEPs couldn't get adjusted,
right,
the you know all
right,
of the necessary
right.
information and the forms and all that, but now we can
Yeah,
do that.
yeah,
So now what we said we could not do is
yes,
a possibility to do. So I
yeah,
want to switch gears to Dr. Bowles, because the beauty of that is, of course, in a real situation, you know, Dr. Thomason, you all could arrange that. But
yes,
now, not only, of course, you know, friends, colleagues, okay, we can make that happen. Okay, you all can arrange that because you're aware of technology. But
right.
now it's expanded to even greater. So, what has that done to your business, Dr. Bowles? Look, realizing that, okay, I normally was tutoring in person, face to face in Louisville, and I had clients and we would meet here and the parents would bring them there and that whole 9 yards. Now, what has that done? What has that done to your business in supporting education and tutoring and remedial and getting ready for academic standardized tests? What has that done for your business?
Sure, Dr. Royston. Well, first of all, this pandemic has basically doubled the increase of my business in all areas. When I see the educational system, I see it as a very diversified extension of learning, change, transformation, flexibility, as well as adaptation. So what I have had to do is I have had to reach out and contact resource partners to come in and assist. And we know that education is the key to life, is the key to success. So in saying that, my company had to go a step further via Zoom, via email, via WebEx, via DoxyMe, whatever source of media it takes to make sure that that scholar is learning and that we are adapting our learning to their learning style. So for us, it has been great. And when you have a true passion for learning like I do, you'll do whatever it takes to help meet the needs, to meet them where they are. And that's just the bottom line. And if I can just elaborate for a moment and talk about the unfortunate pandemic that we are going through. We have been forced to do business differently by adapting, adjusting, and being more flexible as it relates to education, our careers, lifestyles, etc. Now, specifically in the education arena, we have been forced to look at education out of several different lenses. These lenses being kinesthetic learners, face-to-face learners, being hands-on. So on that point, I have to be Pacific and I have to meet those scholars again to make sure that I am adjusting to their learning styles. And all the old things are tough and different at this time. Guess what? We have to stay positive, know and believe that things are going to get better. And I am believing and claiming that things are going to get better. But until then, we're going to do what it takes here at BYF Consulting. I have clients all over. Maryland, like Dr. Thomason said, I tutor her kids, Louisville family, my Indiana family, my California family, Florida, and all over the globe. So it can't just stop here. And I am constantly talking with my support team, my resource partners, in ways to enhance learning where we continue to build that relationship with scholars, parents, the grandparents, and others to make sure that learning is comfortable for these scholars.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, give your website because I want somebody who's listening live or on the replay or in the Zoom room to be able to share it. It's byfconsulting.org. byfconsulting.org. Please reach out to her, schedule an appointment, schedule a time. One thing about Dr. Bowles, she's going to be teaching 24/7, 365 days of the year. She schedules, she's going to train you when you need it and when you need to have it. And we're excited about, so that's about, that really is a major switch. Even before I get to Dr. Hunter, you're coming up next. But before I get there, I realized that, I've only been retired 2 years, but in 2 years, that is radical to realize that, oh my goodness, we all can log on and get that IEP changed and that IEP adjusted. Whereas, oh my gosh, somebody had to travel 25 miles and did the social worker go pick up the parent because they didn't have the car and they missed the bus and they had to go, all of that has been eliminated. Even if you don't have a Chromebook or a desktop, you still have a phone and you can still get access that way. So, and then now you have access to tutoring and training and that information that you need from Dr. Bowles in a global setting. You don't have to be in the same city with her. She doesn't have to be in the same city with you to be able to get that information to you. Now, sure, we learned from YouTube, we learned when we Googled it or whatever, but now we have an actual live body that is there designed to do that and to be able to make that happen. And my child can get the training, the tutoring, the breaking it down for their specific needs that they need to be successful. That's a phenomenal thing. That is an awesome opportunity that the learning can be extended. That's the reason why I said, let's go back to learning. We may not get into the building. We might not get in a formal school building, but we're going back to learning. Yes,
and one other thing, Dr. Royston and the viewers, you know that my specialty is standardized testing. My ACT and SAT scores have been just as high via Zoom Teams, WebEx, what have you, as they are face to face. So the structure has not changed for me. The increase in materials, current materials, has changed, but I appreciate the scholars who stay steadfast and is willing to learn and who are engaged and have fun while learning, because guess what? The results are showing.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put that pin in.
Oh, well, we appreciate it. byfconsulting.org. Look it up, share it with people that you know. I have seen people post online. I need help. I need a tutor. I don't know nothing about this math. I can't get this, I've seen some very, very frustrated parents. So be ready to share that website. So let's go to the college campus. The college campus looks totally different, doesn't it, Dr.
Sure,
Hunter?
it certainly does. And
Go ahead.
one of the things that I share all the time is that we cannot teach these days without inclusiveness of social justice issues as well as health concerns because of what we're dealing with currently as far as the pandemic is concerned. We must continue to find opportunities to address the inequalities of education on a heightened level. And as far as I'm concerned, right now, it looks like a real confusing patchwork. It appears that the virus would have a long-lasting impact on the trajectory of education. I see private schools are always ahead of the game because of the additional funding that they have. And it is just totally hard to really envision how the future will unfold. However, education was changing drastically prior to the pandemic because of the technology's constant growth. Pre-pandemic, the key requirement to thrive was lifelong learning and the ability to acquire new technology skills swiftly. Now, post-pandemic, we need to design an educational system that is futuristic, thinking that requires retraining teachers as well as redesigning education systems and the curriculum and innovative ideas as well as creativity. I would also like to add that this pandemic has other challenges for our beloved students. Students will now have to take more classes online, but when looking at public school students and elementary students, they will need more help from their parents. Parents need to be trained on how to use these technologies as well as our students who are in these schools. Students will have to have more time set, designated times in the household so that they can be readily involved in the learning process. More teleconferences will have to be added. More parent guardian support is critical. Parents will need to learn the whole homeschool strategy in order to help children with more online learning. And also, in 3 to 5 years, the future of education will look different because teachers and students are not comfortable now sending their children to school. Teachers are not comfortable since this virus is producing 1,000 deaths on a daily basis. Now, our lowest socioeconomic groups will continue to suffer the most, like everything else. They are already receiving less training and are more at risk to be affected by disruptions in the labor market due to our history of rising inequalities, including the lack of social mobility, preschool preparation, K to 12 quality access to advanced education, and the end results, jobs. Some schools in various states are opening and schools are having to shut down because of this pandemic outbreaks. You hear stories all the time of teams wanting to play, young men going out and calling home and say, I don't feel comfortable, I need to come home. And then a virus epidemic has broken out at their university. It is a real serious effort to keep our children safe. And the goal of being at a university or any type of higher learning is to graduate. And the sports are very good. However, we are trying to graduate students. Mm-hmm. I want to share at some point, I'm not sure whether you'd like for me to share now, but I want to suggest 6 salient points that are inherent to the future of education post-pandemic and my educational perspective.
Go ahead.
Okay, the very first is learning loss. Learning loss will exacerbate inequality. Prior to the pandemic, we were experiencing a learning crisis, and it will be severe by prolonged school closings. A meta-analysis of learning decay, summer breaks, they show a substantial divergence by socioeconomic status. A recent study determined that the wealthier households are more able to seek distant learning opportunities at a higher rate than a poor household. And also that suggests that during learning loss, during these school closures, it's even likely, even more severe and unequal during summer learning losses. It hurts us. Point two, millions of children will not return to school after the virus. Therefore, we will see a higher dropout rate that will have an economic and educational disaster for disadvantaged students for reasons such as lack of access to technology, homelessness, unsafe housing, parental job insecurity, the virus complications of death. Now, teens may need to work to care for younger siblings while their frontline parents are out working. However, employment opportunities and innovative technologies will be available, having an enormous paradigm shift in the types of jobs that will be available. So, I say that to say that parents will need to recommend a certain designated time on a daily basis. And I'm saying the college kids at home, the high school students that are home, the elementary kids, they need to help their children to embrace their learning capacity.
Okay, hold that right there. Hold that
Sure,
thought. Hold that thought right there.
sure.
So one of the questions that was asked and the things that you've reiterated over and over again, I want to go ahead and interject. And Mr. John Ayers has asked this as well in the group about concerning the parental involvement. This all of you have stated grandparents, guardians, parents, that role has now been heightened because we used to I was on SBDM in my elementary school, and that was one of the major trainings that we have. How do we get parents and guardians and more grandparents to be involved in that process? Because now, since you're home, we have access to you via communication, webinars, Zooms, etc. But now it is the parents. It is now forcibly on the parents. So what are going to be our next steps? We've got to now make sure that we do have, Dr. Hunter, you mentioned having a parent training component. Do you have that in your school, Dr. Thomason, or does that happen, or have y'all made arrangements for that?
So what we've done is we've made sure that every child had access to a Chromebook.
Okay.
Every child. So they came and they picked up a Chromebook, and the county has also ensured that the lunches or meals were made for families also.
Okay.
So we're covering those. So, several times a week, the parents can come and stop in, and they don't ask any questions. They just, if you come, they hand you, food for several days. They ask you, how many children do you have? And then they provide you with bags of food.
That's phenomenal.
So with all of the children having access to Chromebooks, this also gives us an opportunity to also track that. We get a lot of data. So we track who's logging online. And unfortunately, there's a lot of kids that's not logging on. I was in the chat, I was in the summit yesterday, and I think it was Mr. Gunn. He was like 8,000 of their kids didn't log on. And that speaks to what Dr. Hunter is saying about learning loss.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to experience learning loss nationwide. It's going to be a drastic shift, and moving forward because of the innovation of technology. And you're going to need certifications of various things in order to compete and or get a job. It's going to be a greater divide. I see that it's going to be very unfortunate. But we are attempting to make sure that the kids here do have access. And for those who do not have access to internet, a lot of our local businesses, Comcast was providing free internet to our families. So they would, again, contact Comcast, the free internet provider. We were providing hotspots to parents. We were also suggesting they can come into the parking lot of any school in their area to access the internet. If a school was in walking distance to your building, the kids could come and access the internet. So it's been a lot of thinking and a lot of trying to work through the various gaps. Are we going to lose some kids? We are certainly going to lose some kids.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to really have to start looking at and preparing for that. And, you know, with the Department of Social Services and the government, we're going to have to prepare for those types of realities that we're going to be facing.
Most definitely. Dr. Bowles, hold on with Dr. Hunter.
Okay.
Dr. Bowles, go ahead.
To answer your question, Dr. Royston and listeners, I want to share some with you. Just this summer, BYF Consulting, my company, had the opportunity to run a summer enrichment program for certain areas here. What we found out was that it takes a village. There were grandparents raising grandchildren who were not familiar with technology, who were not familiar to what to do to assist their grandchildren as it relates to their educational learning. So what we have done with BYF Consulting, we have reached out to resource partners. They have made parent videos for grandparents, parents, and others that will help them navigate and educate them on how to teach their child or grandchild as it relates to them being able to learn the required core academic subjects, being it English, math, reading, science, and writing. I can't do it all. You can't do it all. But parents, guardians, grandparents, we thank you for what you are doing.
Yes.
We know that it is difficult.
Yes.
So if I could leave one great tip with you, it would be to reach out to those additional resource partners in Louisville, Charlotte, Atlanta, wherever you are, and to see if they offer some type of video that will enhance your knowledge as it relates to being able to, again, we have to adapt to their learning styles in order to make sure they're successful.
That's wonderful.
And I've had to do that.
Exactly. Dr. Nettles is in the Zoom room. Thank you so much for joining me again on tonight. I greatly appreciate it. She says in Alabama, school buses have been equipped with Wi-Fi technology. So therefore, the bus, since if the children are home, they need the Wi-Fi access and they're not going actually to the building, then the bus is going to the neighborhood. So they have equipped their school buses with the Wi-Fi so that the parents, so the families will have access. So I'm quite sure they must have a extended, I was a tech teacher, so they extended reach so that they can hopefully cover more range so that everybody will have access, because it's still a safety issue going outside or whatever. I mean, you can be outside on your porch, of course, on your property, but I mean, boarding the bus itself, no. But you know, it would definitely, you know, that it would be incredible for people to have that access. And you're right, there have been some businesses who say jump on our Wi-Fi, and Comcast and some of the other internet networks have really done that. So I would, even if you connect with BYF Consulting, just in case they have an access point for you there, but also being able to access your school. We're back to the parent involvement. You need to demand that my child have, it needs to have what it needs to be able to learn. So I need to be able to have that technology. If you don't have it, don't wait for them to come to you. You go call them and say, I need the technology. I need the Wi-Fi. I need a video to show me how to do it. And as the tech teacher, I am quite sure somebody has established or should establish. Now, I wish I could cover all 50 states with this whole process, because everybody's doing it. As they say, they're doing their own thing. But, but everybody is learning and they're going to learn this year. They're
Yeah.
going to learn in this upcoming learning year. So
Yeah.
make sure we're back to Mr. Ayers, who said the parent involvement. You're
Yeah.
exactly right, sir.
Yeah.
The parent involvement has to be over and above. You're not going
Right.
to be able to do the drop off thing. It's just not going to happen. It's going to have to be, you're going to have to make those calls and demand that. I'm sorry, Dr. Hunter, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to share an innovative and a creative project that Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools has implemented just recently. What they do, they provide the free breakfast and one free lunch, which is frozen, so that the students can reheat that at no cost. And this is for students who are receiving free and reduced lunches. And the school system operates a delivery service using those school bus drivers for their usual and meeting students at their usual bus stops at a specific time. Students will get to eat so they can learn, and employers will still get to work. It's offered continuing employment for these employees whose positions would otherwise might have been temporarily suspended. So families can pay for children also who are ineligible for this free and reduced lunch regardless. So this is a good segue so that the parents can still have some freedoms. They don't have to worry about feeding students during the daytime, and they can carry on with their work knowing that their children have food so that they can get online and continue their studies. So school systems are being very innovative and creative
Yeah.
in what they're trying to do to help these learners have a growth spurt and a good learning environment. So I
And
think
still
that's
be able to,
phenomenal.
and they still, and the bus drivers still have a job. Because if they're driving the lunches with them, whether they have a lunch lady on the bus or not, that still is giving them a job. That was another concern of mine. What the bus
Yeah.
driver's going to do? What the lunch lady's going to do? What
Yeah.
the instructor assistant's going to be doing? Dr. Bowles, you have a comment?
Yes, I just want to make sure that I am clear and I address this question. What advice do you have for parents? I want to answer that personally from my point of view. As a business owner, as a parent of a 24-year-old daughter who is in the military, she is now furthering her education. Can I tell you, parents, just continue to provide additional support just as you are doing now. You're doing a phenomenal job. Be open to conversations with your child or children that you may not expect. Your opinion about their education matters to them. Believe that it does. It matters to them. So I just wanted to make sure that I touched on that. Dr. John Ayers, who is one of my brothers in Louisville, I wanted to make sure that you all understood that we know you're doing everything you can. And then the other note is I have a very large population of homeschool scholars. And so the videos have been a jewel to them.
Yeah.
They have been able to go back and reference to those videos as well as the parents. There's a video for the scholars and a video for the parents. So any type of educational resources that you can provide for your child will be beneficial.
I think that's wonderful. Okay,
Yeah.
so Dr. Nichols says the entrepreneurial, hopefully, during these times, people will become more entrepreneurial. I've seen in, just like Dr. Bowles, I've seen an upsurge in my business. So I was, as I say, I cut my teeth on entrepreneurship from my father, who was a educator by day and an entrepreneur at night. So I know about that. So Dr. Nichols, is there a program that that you all offer to, that you know of, that will offer that assistance and that help for parents who are like, okay, I'm home. I need to figure out ways to make money online. They just need to ask Uncle Google, or is there a program that we need to facilitate and forward? Or is that the SBA's job, or
Dr.
one of the other business?
Dr. Royston, there are absolutely, YouTube is absolutely inundated actually with that information. You can go on YouTube and you could Google jobs from home. There's some wonderful, wonderful jobs that you can do from home. People have started posting the things that they make and create on Etsy.
I know it.
That has been wonderful. There's all types of things that you can certainly start.
Oh,
And
there's tons.
the kids and the
And
parents.
the parents. I said you should
And the
not be
parents.
hungry if you have a gift. If you have a
Yes.
gift, post it. Somebody will buy
Yeah. Yeah. eBay, uh, affiliate marketing.
Yes.
Sky,
Email marketing, all of it.
yeah.
All of there.
The sky is the limit.
So Dr. Nichols says contact the YouTube videos that Dr. Thomason talked about, as well as reaching out to SCORE, which is an organization that is completely free for people who, which I know about intimately, because SCORE helps small business owners, and they are either retired or entrepreneurs themselves that volunteer their time to be able to help small businesses thrive. So there are information, there's tools out there, there's online tools. You can use your phone for more than taking selfies. So I really encourage you to utilize that, so that job market and whatever that change and whatever that switch is, you'll be able to do that, so that you can help your child be more even than just the school system can offer. We have our set curriculum, but there's more to learn. There's more about the cultures. There's more about making money, saving money, finances that might not be in our curriculum already, but you can always take it to the next level. That's the beauty. You can be even the number one co-teacher in the building, because now the school has come to your house. So therefore, you shouldn't worry whether the school is going to teach on Juneteenth or any of the other culturally significant holidays and historical times in history. You have the opportunity to inject that. That's not just for the homeschooling cohorts. We have the opportunity to do that as well. So I'm sorry, we put an additional job on the parents and grandparents, but it's all a part of the village. We're here to help the village.
Right.
We are here to help the village do that. Miss Swanson has a comment. Yes, we are. We've been seeing those announcements all the time. So Miss Swanson is in Louisville, Kentucky, which is the largest school district in the state of Kentucky, and I'm quite sure she is affiliated with Dr. Bowles in one way, shape, or form, or myself. I love that too. She says that they're working in JCPS to bring that barrier down as quickly as possible as far as technology goes, as well as assist parents or grandparents. That's wonderful to hear. Seeing as I'm a community partner and stakeholder in this area. Yes. Oh, that's wonderful. Juniors and your high school here. Oh, okay. Go, Dr. Bowles. Yay!
Thank you, my Louisville fans. Thank you.
No, that's the reason why she's here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have about if you have a question, feel free to put it in the chat. If you're on YouTube, be sure and put the question there as well. Miss Cecilia Duncan Jones says, thank you, Dr. Tamara Bowles, for educating her children. Miss Lisa People says, thank you for educating and being a great help and a blessing to her family. Oh my goodness. So byfconsulting.org clients and testimonials are in the comments on YouTube and on Zoom.
And on the screen.
And on the screen.
and on the
and
screen.
on the screen, yes.
Yes.
Dr. Thomas is number one. Dr.
Yes.
Hunter says, yay. So really moving forward, I, in my opinion, you all can agree or disagree. I really believe that the future of education is really wide open. It's not that the standards have been lowered. Nothing has been lowered. It's just we have expanded the way we're going to deliver the instruction. Correct? Is that it's just it's primarily the expansion of it and being able to open up our minds, but then being able to also make sure that you, as they say, you plug in, get your thinking cap on and plug in to be able to do that. We've always had to do address multiple learning styles. We've always had to address the special needs and the behavioral issues in the room. I'm sorry, teachers, but you're going to have to get innovative. That passing out worksheets and standing in front and doing the dry erase board is not always going to work. And you know, sometimes that might work for a list activity, but we're gonna have to get up, move around, put some music on, and then sit back down again. And you know, it's gonna have to be definitely innovative. There could be interactive centers where, you know, I used to have 8 centers in my library and they actually physically move from place to place, but we may have to do that in the house. Go and hang out in the living room, go from your learning space and, you know, go out in the hallway, whatever that looks like, so that children are able to do that. And it's going to have to be outside the box. Now, I have a sister who is an educator, and she's kind of a type A personality. She likes all the chairs in a row and all the books straight and all the nameplates at a certain place. But, you know, I've been telling her, she's like, you're not in the building, you're retired. I got that, but I'm just going to help you a little bit. Boo, you're going to have to open up your mind, expand your horizon, you know, get out of your comfort zone, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take all of us, all hands on deck, parents, grandparents, administrators, everybody, all hands on deck. But we've got to do, we can't just say it. It can't be just rhetoric, what's best for kids. It really has to be what's best for kids.
And we cannot dismiss the human element. We have to make sure that we stay connected to one another, because if we're not staying connected to one another, and it's just like when you're out and you're driving and then you just have the road rage. So out, you know, you don't have a human connection with the person in the car next to you. So, you know, it's okay to be mean and nasty. And that may happen also with us spending a whole lot of time away from one another with the human. So with the human connection, it's a little hard to be, you know, mean and nasty when you're face to face with someone.
Right.
You know, that's where our kids are held accountable. Adults are held more accountable when we continue to make sure that we're connecting the human element. And that's where the mental health piece is really going to come in, and being available to families, being available to each other, and being available. The teachers are working hard.
Yeah, I pray for them every day. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I do. I pray for them every single solitary day, because I can all well imagine. And you know, one of the points that I just want to interject right here, that Miss Latasha Craig said on Wednesday night about we might be socially distant, but we don't have to be, was it something like emotionally distant? We can still remain connected to each other, even though we're far away. So you do have to check on that strong friend that you think is strong. You do have to check in on that educator.
And you know, I think we just need to know that we have a new shift in the learning economy, period. It's the well-being of the workforce. And it depends on whether we attain the goal that we set out to accomplish. And it's no matter what new skills come in the horizon, dealing with all these technologies, all this stuff, the urgency to have a strong foundation in basic computations, your literacy skills, your foundational core, content knowledge, your soft skills, being innovative, being creative, collaborative problem solving, having those social skills, learning reasoning, adaptability, showing empathy, and being kind are the things that we still need to engross and ingratiate our students with, no matter what discipline we are trying to train our learners.
Exactly. And no matter what level we're on either.
And make better people, and and make these people better stewards of the learning world, I think everything will be just fine. So
sounds wonderful.
I need to make sure our students stay woke and stay well, and encourage our students to ingratiate ourselves with a book. Use this pandemic time to tweak an already existing product. In other words, this time to make something better. So if plan A doesn't work, continue, and maybe plan Z will.
Oh yeah.
Accomplish our goal for quality inclusion, equity education for all, not just our brown and black people, for all. The future is still very bright, even during COVID. I read something a long time ago from one of my favorite motivational speakers, Les Brown. He says, if you fall down, fall on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up.
Oh yeah.
So the students are missing the daily encouragement from teachers from this online instruction. So I think parents and guardians have to step up. We have to step up as online practitioners and encourage students that they are the best that they can become.
Wonderful. Dr. Bowles has her hand up. Go ahead, Dr.
Okay, I
Bowles.
just have three final points that I need to make before the time is up.
Sure.
I have to just give a shout out to those parents, grandparents, and guardians. I want you all to take a walk, get some air, go exercise, and to be refreshed because when you go back in the home, you know things will shift.
Mhm.
Number two, can I just say thank you, thank you, thank you to the parents, the teachers, the administrators, the social workers, the janitorial staff, the bus drivers. Thank you all who are a part of that school system. You are appreciated. And then, not last but not least, I want you to take a moment and go to byfconsulting.org. And I just give God the glory right now. I have been able to publish my very first book, Cleaning Out My Garden, thanks to my publisher, Dr. Julia Royston. You all have been waiting, to my sister Cecilia, the Fort Knox crew, and Vine Grove crew, and Louisville crew. The book is ready. So I need you to
Yay!
go, yay, to byfconsulting.org and order that book. In description, be very specific and tell me who you want it addressed to or what you want me to title it. It is available on Amazon, but I prefer you go to byfconsulting.org. You can also reach me on LinkedIn at byfconsulting.com or Dr. Tamara Bowles on Facebook. Thank you all so much. I have been poured with support and texts and emails. I appreciate you all. And then a shout out to the Alabama crew. Oh,
Yes.
yay.
Yay.
Y'all know I'm from Pensacola, Florida. I'm just one of them Southern hospitality. So I want to give a shout out to that Alabama crew for your support.
Honey, you can't make me. My Alabama family they'll come in thick. They
And
roll
and
in
and
thick.
Dr. Ralston, I just like to give a shout out to HBCUs for doing all the work that they are doing to produce these powerful leaders in our world. These HBCUs are changing the value of education. I talked with my uncle earlier. He was a former administrator at Virginia State. All of those young people have gotten they got a check for $500 to get a PC. So I am excited about the future of HBCUs, and I'm suggesting to give students a mandate and to start thinking about your college major, preparing to go to college. I want students to choose a problem, develop strategies to solve a problem, execute the problem or project. I want you to collect that data, and teachers in the future may need to assess them on more projects and portfolios and reduce these exams and let
Yeah.
them know that they can still change the world.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
They can still
Okay,
make a difference.
sorry, Dr. Thompson, your final thoughts before we shut it down.
My final thoughts are, I want you guys to be on the lookout for the Velvet Tam. It's a brand new book that I've written in conjunction with these two spectacular women, Dr. Bowles and Dr. Hunter. And it is the Velvet Tam Testimonies under the doctoral hat. That's right, y'all. That's the right
Yeah,
title. Okay, that's the right title.
yeah.
So it's going to be coming out very, very soon. We are so excited. The book is, I'll just give you a little taste. The book is just about just our journey as we went through the doctoral process. And we just want it to be a blessing to any and everybody who decides to read it. It's not just for going to get your doctorate. It's just for if you just want to have a goal or you want to make something happen. We've put in strategies and how to do, various tasks. And so we hope that you enjoy it. Be on the lookout for it. Our
Yeah.
phenomenal publisher, Dr. Julia Royston, is
Thank you.
putting the last pieces on it.
Yeah.
She's making it glow. She's making
I want it to glow. I definitely
she's
do.
making it glow, and
Yeah.
and it's going to be out very, very soon. So
Very, very soon. Very, very soon.
It has been a blessing to get
Thank
to
you.
know so many wonderful, educated people.
It's wonderful, hasn't it?
And this summit has been wonderful. I've met Dr. Nettles. I've met Tasha,
Kia, and that was a powerful night. Now that night was a powerful thing. I sat for a while right here going, what just happened? What just happened? Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Yeah, you know how you go into that staff development and you come out like you can change the world.
Yes, that's what we did that night.
It has been a fantastic week. So
thank you.
We wrapping this thing on up.
Y'all gonna shut it down tonight.
Yes, we're shutting it down.
I am super excited. Thank you all so much for being with me tonight. Thank you, everybody in the Zoom room, everybody in YouTube. Oh my goodness. Sorry, Facebook, you missed out. Thank you. Yes, Dr. Nettles.
And go and get in some good trouble. Good trouble. Change the world. Education.
Well, education was always number one in our household. So that's where it goes. Thank you so much, Dr. Nichols, Dr. Nettles, everybody for being on this evening, jumping on. There's a Moto that I don't see a name, but I'm so appreciative.
My mom is here.
Is that your mother? Oh yeah. Oh,
mother's here. My aunt's here. Yeah. My boss, my principal is here. Hey, Dr. McCray. Hey, Dr. McCray. Well, thank you so much for your support.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate this. And this has been a phenomenal week. Be sure and look for the replays. Be sure and be on the lookout for their upcoming anthology group book, but also Cleaning Out My Garden. Come on, we launching tonight. Yay! Yes. We're launching tonight. So go right over to BYF now. Amazon does have the book, but I want you to get it. Make sure you get it from byfconsulting.org, because Dr. Bowles is not going to be able to sign your book unless you go to Charlotte and let her sign it. No. So I want her to be able to sign it and inscribe it directly from you. And then I want her to make sure that she has your email and contact information so that when their next book comes out, you'll be the first one to get access to it. You'll get the first email and all that good stuff. So we can't get that done on Amazon. We need you to get them directly from Dr. Bowles so that she can have your information. And then when the upcoming book comes out, you'll be able to do that. So she'll be able to contact you and you'll be on her list. You'll be on the best list. How about that? I'm Dr. Julia Royston of BK Royston Publishing, Royal Media and Publishing, and the author community, the Book Business Bosses, helping you get your message to the masses, turn your words into wealth, be a book business boss, and write that book now. If you need to have a conversation with me, schedule a time, you're interested in publishing, go to talkwithroyston.com. That's talkwithroyston.com. You all be blessed, be safe, have a peace, and be safe in all that you do. Let's continue to learn and be all that we can be for ourselves, for our children, for our economy, and for the next generation. The future is bright, but it's only as bright of the light that you bring to it. So you have a great day and live your best life. Bye-bye.